Hi there. In this sequence, we'll be doing a kinetic hinge in a 90-90. And first we'll find our 90-90. So come on down to the ground. And what a 90-90 refers to is the angles of both our front and our back legs. It's not as important that your back leg be in a 90-90. I often tuck it in here because it feels better for the positioning of my hips. This front leg should be as close to 90 as possible, however, and to achieve that for some folks, you might want to have a pad under your front hip. We'll call this our front hip since it's the one we're leaning over, and this is our back hip since it's in the back. So find something that's a half an inch or maybe an inch and a half thick, up to an inch and a half thick, that you can tuck under your front glute to help take a little pressure off of your hip joint if you're feeling a little like it's a little too tight or not comfortable. You can also lean out to the side as we're doing this, and you can get a great effect leaning out. It's not necessarily as important to be upright either, but once you get the hang of this, what we're doing here, you'll be able to find the best position for you, I guarantee. So we'll begin by thinking about the tissue on the top of our leg here. So this is called our regressive tissue in this case because we're going to be closing over it. So making that joint smaller, or that angle smaller. So this is our regressive tissue. And in this case, the back of our legs, or the legs that are the part of our leg that's touching the mat, will be our progressive tissue. So as we lower over our front leg, we're going to be imagining that the knee is pulling towards our chest. We're engaging that tissue on the top or the inside of our thigh. And we're pulling our knee towards our chest and pulling our chest towards our knee. And our knee's not going to leave the mat, but we're acting like it's going to. And when we press ourselves up to an upright position, we're engaging everything that is in contact with the mat, with all the strength that we have to press ourselves back up to sitting. So regressive tissue engaging, pulling our knee toward our chest. Progressive tissue engaging, pushing, pushing, pushing everything we have down into the ground to press ourselves up. So you're pulling your knee towards you and pressing your knee away from you. Again, pulling your knee toward you, pressing your knee away from you. Great. Try that one more time. Pulling your knee toward you, pressing your knee into the mat. So now that we have the idea, I want to think about one additional cue, and that is we are pretending as though our chest is reaching as far as possible over our knee. And as we're doing that, our tailbone is stretching back as far as it can behind us. So we're pulling over as much as we can while pulling our knee into our chest and pressing everything we have into the ground to pull us back up to sitting. One more time, pulling our knee into our chest and pressing everything we have to come up to sitting. How does that feel? I feel something, quite a lot actually, in my hip. You should feel something, and hopefully it's like a deep kind of like, oh, I've never felt that muscle group before. And that would be an accurate and a positive outcome from this exercise. Okay, so let's set up on the other side. Find your 90-90. My 90-90 isn't as comfortable on this side. I do have an internal rotation issue on this hip, so it doesn't feel as comfortable for me to sit on the side. Likely you'll have one side that is easier or more comfortable than the other. So I may, in this case, lean out just a little bit further rather than concentrate on sitting up. So we'll take some nice deep breaths to prepare. And again, we're thinking about pulling that knee into our chest as we lower down and pressing our entire leg into the ground to sit up. I'm saying pressing your knee, but what I really mean is our whole leg, but just the knee might not even reach the ground. So think about the whole leg driving into the mat as you set yourself up to sitting upright. A lot of words there. Okay, so let's take a nice deep breath. Think about that cueing, pulling our knee toward our chest as we lower down and pressing our leg into the mat to help us sit back upright. Again, pulling the knee toward our chest and pressing everything we have into the ground to sit us back up. Think about pulling that chest over the knee as much as it will go, stretching the tailbone behind you, pressing with your knee, your whole leg into the mat to help you sit up. 3 more times. Pulling that knee into the chest as we lower down and over, and pressing with our whole leg to sit us back up. 2 more times. Working on that regressive tissue, pulling that knee toward our chest, and pressing our whole leg into the ground. Set ourselves up. 1 more time. Pulling that knee into the chest. Pull. And press back up to sitting. Hopefully that feels like something you want to do again. I'll see you back here shortly.